Areas. Guys, so in the last video, we were able to get the data from the expenses chart, and inside the chart component, we created this array of objects, which is basically representing each month. Now, what I want to do, I just from this chart expenses that I'm getting, I just want to fetch the expense for every month and then add it to the expense value attribute in each of these objects, if that particular month is having any expense. So for that, I can make use of the for loop. I can say that for that expense of so this is a for loop for of loop. Okay, you can even make use of the traditional for loop for let I equals to 0, I less than props dot start expenses dot length, which is an array. So dot length will work, and now uh, I can do that. Uh, so props dot chart expenses chart expenses I. This will give me this particular object, and from that I want the date. Okay, so I will do dot date, then dot get month. Okay, and this get month is, so that this method returns the number of the, I mean the months of the year, but in the form of numbers, and the numbers are zero based. And here also the array that we created has this objects. So since it is array, again this is zero based, so this will actually give me the correct number for the month. So I can directly pass this to the chart data, and then I can say the dot expense value. This is equals to this. I mean the previous value is zero, and to that I want to add the new value. So I will add um, props dot chart expenses I dot, and I think it is price expenses chart props dot chart data. Props dot chart data is nothing but filtered expenses, and filtered expenses I'm getting from the expenses. This expenses I'm getting from the app.js, and then I'm having price. Okay, so I should use price here. So dot price. This should update the data. Let us console and let us see this. Hmm. Okay, so I'm consoling this, I'm getting bigger, but I'm not having more than two items for, but I can clearly see that this is coming from line number 22 of chart.js, which is this. It has, I gave the expenditure value for the month, for all the months as zero, but now, uh, okay, so sorry, I should console the chart data. I'm so sorry, chart data, and the expenses value should have been updated. Let us see that. I'm getting undefined chart data. Okay, this is not props dot chart data, it is just chart data. So I'm getting the data for 12 months. For all the months, my expenses should be zero, but for the month of September, it should be 10. So September, it should be 10. Okay, it is 10. So that means it is adding 10 to 0. And for October, it is 200. So it is adding 200 to 0. In case if there would have been more expenditure in this month, those would have also been added because of what? Because of this for loop. So now we have got the updated chart data. Now we just now need to pass this to the chart bar. But we need to pass it using map method, so that each, so we will iterate through this chart that I mean we need to pass this to uh, yeah, we need to iterate through the chart. I mean we need to iterate through this data, and then we can pass this to chart bar. Okay, so I can say that I should return a div, and here I can basically iterate through this chart data. So I can say that chart data dot map, where I am having the month data. So this is basically an arrow function, and I want to return basically chart bar here. So I will import it, import chart bar from dot slash chart bar, and I will return that I'm mapping through it. So my chart bar, I should pass to it expenses chart. Okay, I should pass to this. What are the things that I need? Now, when I'm creating such a thing, when I'm creating such a kind of graph, a bars. So basically, I want the percentage. So for percentage, I should have the maximum expense, that in which month the maximum the expense was maximum, and then I will divide the individual month expenses by that maximum amount, and then multiply it by 100 to get the percentage, and I will use that to um, fill different heights in this bars. So for that purpose, I would need a max value. We will come to that. So I'm consoling this. Okay, I'm mapping to the chart data. Let us pass this value. So my chart bar should, first of all, it should have a label of the month. Let us create an attribute of label, and let us pass to it month data dot expense month. Okay, this is the label. And then I want to pass the expense amount. Let us call it value. Let us give the attribute name value, and this would be month data dot expense value. So now expense value is passed to the chart bar component, and label is also passed. And you also know that since this is a key attribute, okay, I mean this is a map thing, so we should have a key attribute. And again, I can make use of the month data dot expense month, because all the 12 months are unique, having unique names. This will work. And what else I need to pass? I need to pass. So I should have some max value, right? How can we have the max value? Okay. So what I'm having, see, I'm receiving this ops.chart expenses, right? Uh, so what I can do is from this array, okay, see what essentially is happening. I'm getting the filtered expenses, then chart expenses will give me the filtered expenses. So I can say that uh, from that particular thing, I want the maximum. So I can make use of the math.max method. I can say that const max value is equals to math.max. Max of what? Max of what? Of the expenses that I'm receiving. But the problem is the expenses that I'm receiving is in the form of objects. See, I'm receiving the expenses from app. App from app they are passed down to the expenses component. These objects they are passed down to the expenses component. In expenses they are filtered by year, and then that filtered component, I mean expenses, are passed down to expenses chart, from expenses chart to the chart. So this is an object containing date, price, ID, and all those things. So I just want the price out of it. So what I can do is I can create a new array, and I can say that price only array. Let us call it price only array. Uh, or you can call it expenses only array. That would make more sense. Expenses only array. And then um, I would have to make map through this. So I can say props dot chart expenses dot map. This time I will get the month expense, data, and from this I can basically return month expense data dot price. If I do this much, I should get the expenses only array. Let us console this expenses only array. Let us see whether we are getting it or not. So I'm getting 2, 10, and 200. So I'm getting the expenses only array. Now this is fine. Now I just need to find the maximum value so I can make use of the spread operator. I have already shown this to you. So I will spread this array. So I will get the individual items and then I will get the maximum value. So obviously this should be 200. Let us console this again. Console.log max value. Okay. So I'm getting 200 as the max value. Okay. So this is fine. Now what I can do is I can just pass this max value to the chart again. Why I need this? Because I want to find the percentage. So to find the percentage, you need the max value as well as the value of expense for that month. Now I can get rid of this console log statement. Everything else looks fine to me. One optimization that I want to do is, see, this for loop is fine, but we can also make use of the for of loop. There is a for of loop in JavaScript. So I will write the same for loop, but in different syntax. So you can, so basically it reduces the complexity of your code. That's all. So you will just write for let expense of props dot chart expenses. You can write it like this, and then you can simply say that chart data expense dot date dot get months, and then dot expense value plus equals to expense dot price. So this basically reduces, see how simple this is when compared to the previous one. So that is why I'm using this syntax and I should get the same result without any errors and I'm getting it. So this is fine. Now in next video, so now my chart bar is getting all this for data. Key is important because I'm using the map method. Label is unique, month, value of the month. Value is the value of the expense. Max value is the month with the maximum. Sorry, I mean the month, whichever month has the maximum expense, that value, that is the max value. Now I'm passing for each of these individual bars that you are seeing here. For each of these individual bars, I am passing this data to the chart bar component. Now in the chart bar data, I will basically for each of this chart bar, I mean for each of this bars that you're seeing, I will write the code and we will calculate the percentage and we will try to, adjust the height of this field, this color based on that percentage. So we will do that in the next video. Thank you.